Hi, I'm with Badger Basket, here to go through the assembly instructions for the 3-bin storage cubby. Before we get started, make sure you look at all the pieces included. If you're missing anything or have any damaged parts, please contact Badger Basket as shown in the end of the instructional video. This does come in multiple colors, but the assembly will be the same. And at the end of the instructional video, I will show you how to stack cubbies in the case that you buy multiple, just for safety precaution. So let's get started. For step 1, you will need part A and B, which are the left and the right sides. You will need part C, which is the front, 2 of the I large screws, and 2 of the K pegs. For this step, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be attaching the 2 side panels to the front panel. When looking at the side panel, you're going to see one side that has 4 of these plastic inserts. This is going to be facing to the inside of the cubby. These 2 small holes here is where this front panel is going to be inserting and screwing into. The bottom hole is going to be meant for a peg. The top hole is where we're going to screw from this side going through into that front panel. Also note that this groove here needs to go to the inside and to the back of the cubby. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this front panel here aligned to those 2 holes. Again, this bottom hole on the side will be meant for a peg. The top hole is going to be meant for the screw. Now when looking at this front panel, the plain side is going to be facing towards the outside. The side that has these plastic inserts is going to be towards the inside. There's also going to be this angle which needs to be facing upward. So let's get this front panel screwed into the 2 side panels. And for this demonstration, I am going to be using a drill. Feel free to use a drill as well. If you do, please make sure the torque settings are set on low so that you don't strip any of the pieces. Otherwise, feel free to use a hand Phillips screwdriver. So let's get this all put into place. We're going to put the peg in this bottom hole. We're going to put it into the side panel and screw through that top hole. For step 2, you'll need part G, the bottom, 2 of part D, the middle, and 8 of the I large screws. Next, what we're going to be doing is putting on the bottom of the cubby. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece that we already assembled and I'm going to tip this upside down to make it a little bit easier to put that bottom piece on. So this now is the bottom facing upward. When looking at the bottom panel, you're going to notice that there's the same groove that we had on the side pieces. We need this groove to align to the side pieces for a later step. So we're going to have this facing down and to the back, like so. And then we're going to screw into these 2 outer screw holes on each side, which are going to go into these side panels. While you're screwing these in, make sure you're watching this groove to make sure that it aligns nicely with the side grooves on these side panels. So let's get these 4 screws into place. Next, what we're going to be doing is putting into these middle inserts. So I'm going to tip this down now, like so that you can see where these middle inserts are going to be coming off from. When looking at these middle inserts, you're going to see this pointed piece which is going to need to be facing up towards the front or top the way that I have it laying right now. There's a smaller segment or a shorter segment that you want going along this front piece. So it's going to be the bottom facing towards the bottom. This longer edge is going to be towards the top. So when you put it down, it should fit nicely into place, snug along this front panel. Then what we're going to do is we're going to put 2 screws from the underside going up into these dividers to hold these dividers into place. So I'm going to put this middle one here, and we're going to repeat the same thing for the middle one here and get both of these middle panels put into place. For step 3, you need part F, the top, part E, the front trim, part H, the back. You need 8 of the I large screws and 4 of the medium J screws. So next what we're going to be doing is putting on the back panel. What we're going to do is take this thinner back piece and we're going to lift it up and we're going to slide it down into these grooves on the 2 side panels. So we'll get it inserted into the grooves. And then you're just going to want to slide it down, making sure that it gets into this bottom groove on the bottom panel. So you may have to push down a little bit to make sure it's down all the way. Next, what we're going to be doing then is putting on the very top. Now when looking at the top, you're going to see a side that has the 8 screw holes that are indented. This is where we're going to be screwing down from to go into all of these side and middle panels. You're also going to notice on the underside of this top panel that there's this groove. This groove needs to align with this back panel, so when we put it on top, make sure to get this back panel into this groove so that it has a nice, secure, snug fit. So I'm going to put this on here, making sure that this back panel gets into that groove. And then we're going to screw down all 8 of these screws into each of these panels. So let's get these screwed into place. Next, what we're going to be doing is putting on the front trim. When looking at the front trim, you're going to see these 4 holes that are going to have indented screws. This is where we're going to be screwing in from the front into each of these dividers. So each of these holes are going to align to a small pre-drilled hole that you're going to see on each of these end panels and middle dividers. So what we'll want to do is line it up with those holes and put each of these medium-sized screws in through them and screw them into place. So next what I'm going to be showing you is how to stack the bins if you bought multiple bins. It's important that you go through the necessary steps to secure these 2 bins together for safety reasons. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stack this first bin on top of this one, and then I'm going to show you how to put a bracket piece and screw them on so that these bins are held securely. So first let's get this other bin stacked on top. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the back to the back. Now what's really important when you stack is that this bottom bin goes inside these 2 ledges that are on the top bin hanging out. So make sure that this bottom bin is on the inside of these lower ledges from this top bin. So then we're going to want to make sure that they're even. And what you're going to see is a small hole here and a small hole here, and you're going to see the same thing on the other side. What we're going to do is we're going to put this metal bracket, we're going to put it over so that the top hole of the metal bracket and the bottom hole of the metal bracket show those holes. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put these small screws and we're going to screw into all of these holes so that these brackets are held into place. For this I'm using a smaller screwdriver because these screws are a little bit smaller. Then what we're going to do is we're going to repeat the same thing on the other side. We're going to be putting this bracket again here with the top hole of the bracket aligning with the hole on the top cubby and the bottom hole aligning with that bottom hole in the cubby. And that concludes the assembly for the 3-bin storage cubby. Remember, if you have any questions or concerns, to contact Badger Basket as shown in the next clip. Badger Basket thanks you for watching and enjoy.